Spraying. Can't believe I'm considering doing all of this. 2011 was when I started doing this, sticking this to my head. Who wants to be bald? I mean, look at this. It's not the look I've been aiming for. Stick on hair. And how are you? Yeah. It's a bit different, isn't it? It's a lot different. And now, for the first time, I'm thinking about filling in the gaps. So where does the hairpiece end? It's at the bald spot, right? You'd shave to there, surely, right? And then just continue, around. So my hairpiece is currently stopping there and going in a little triangle. But the triangle would continue, I assume, parallel with the ground, the horizon, across the head, and then curve around here to there, right? Exactly there. At least I can see exactly where I'm going to stop shaving. There. Come back around on the other side and come back. And then I'd have a horseshoe bald pattern. I don't want to do it, but I don't want that bald spot. I went to the gym today, but it didn't stop me from being fat. When I say the gym, I mean I can't walk above 4.5 kilometers an hour. Is that 3 miles an hour? Because otherwise I faint. I've got something wrong inside. I've had contrast injections to see what's going on with the blockages in my arteries. Mild, they've called it. It's not a problem. They said it shouldn't be causing this. Breathing tests, heart rate monitor tests, walking tests, sit down, lie down on machines tests, Had a lot of tests. They still haven't found the problem, and they don't call me. I've got to chase the information. So I'm undiagnosed about why I feel faint and I get chest pains all the time. Could be from this, maybe. I stopped smoking a while ago, 2 years ago maybe. The house smells great. People don't worry about my smell. And I had a smoker near me the other day and fuck, they stank like shit. But I smell like banana. Could it be the glue seeping in, poisoning me after all these years? No side effects, I just faint all the time. I would assume that the fainting is to do with that, and the glue had no real lasting effect. This hairpiece has had it, well maybe not really, but with this really short haircut, it pops up. Now I could use hair product to make it stay down, and I assume I will have to. But what I've always had to do is grow this overhang. Overhang is what I call when the hairpiece is overhanging your actual bio hairs, when the base is actually overhanging, as opposed to a gap where you've got actual skin showing between the perimeter of your bio hair and the start of your hairpiece. You don't want a gap because it's just like a big clean line of visibility. With an overhang, now you've got hair that's like a hairpiece that's not stuck down properly. I recently made a video where I decided to just stick a hairpiece right over all of this, and it took ages to get all the hairs, the glue out of all these hairs, which is a big problem. But it wasn't that big a problem to get it out from the short hairs. So is it possible to glue a full topper onto a short haircut? Like, could I, with the hairpiece, what I want and what I don't want, I take it off and I don't look like a fucking bald weirdo. I just have a really short, balding look. So that if, say for example, if you're dating a girl and she says, let me see what it's like underneath, I really have to know, and you don't take it off, and then you're stuck with some terrible horseshoe, you could still look like a person underneath. You know what I mean? That could be possible if you had a short haircut, like really short, like so short that it doesn't matter if you put glue all over it, onto the hair. I'd love to have both of those options. Also, if you glue a hairpiece onto really short hair and it stays perfect, it could potentially look perfect where the hairpiece meets your natural hair. There'd be no detectable. Well, there would if somebody did that, because it wouldn't have stuck down exactly right and it would flip up a bit at the edges. And the problem with this one, after all these years, is that I'm always picking at it. I'm always playing with it when I'm lying in bed at night, I don't know how much that's going to get worse as this all happens, if I have to wear it all the way around the back here. Also, do I make a hairpiece that goes beyond the bald spot? Do I make one that goes even further down so that it blends better or something? As I turn naturally grey, I don't want my hairpiece to be a different colour from all of this. That is what old men look like, and you can tell. I think most of their problem is that by a certain age you've got so many wrinkles and your face has changed shape that you should be grey by now. But I don't care that Tom Cruise isn't grey. We all know he's over 60 or something, right? You can't naturally not be grey at 60, surely. Having said that, I don't really want to be grey. I've said I don't mind it, and I kind of don't, but check this out. This is what I look like old. Grey. Now, if you're happy with that, before your time. You see, over time, what happens is you just become accustomed to what's going on with the way you look, and you don't mind so much about the mirrors anymore. You just get on with life, you see. But I certainly wouldn't come down here and be a little kid again. Otherwise, I'd have to go and fucking struggle to get into places, I might get away with a lot too. Hey, my sight's back. I can see perfectly. This is much better. So, yeah. In contemplation of these things, like being old, being young, I think I'd prefer to be a kid. I got the whole world ahead of me now. What am I going to do? Worry about hair? Never. I'm never going to fall out. I'm immortal. Fuck you. But then you get back to reality. The midway point. Lost my hair. Lost my eyesight. The greys are coming. The greys are coming. I've just been looking at improving the mirror light holder. Sorry, not the mirror light, the mirror camera, the rear screen vision, so I can actually do what I'm talking about doing. Let's go in there now. We can't, can we? I guess we can. I'll flip the camera screen here like this. Try to make a puppet show. I saw in one video a guy used this thing, the stencil maker. I felt like I needed this because it'll help me when I'm going to cut and do stuff to this. And I want to get away from using scissors and using a cutting knife. I haven't figured out how easy that is, but the new knife I've got is scalpel. Oh shit, I just realized the microphone's in this room. This setup is not portable. Okay, I'll have to remember that. I was just showing you guys the headset system over there. Anyway. Moving to a full topper. It's got to be done, doesn't it? Well, step one would be to measure my head. Let's fucking go do it. Let's go. Let's fucking do it. I can't be fucked. Can't be fucked. Where is the ruler anyway? I left it in a place that I wouldn't forget where it is. I've got a tape measure thing. I'll put it there. Use the camera system, the iPad and the iPhone, and measure from there to there, and I'll write that down. Then I guess I'll measure from temple to temple, that way. And I'll maintain that distance, and then I'll make the hairpiece. You can't make it symmetrical, can you? Because the crown is further along the back half. So if the front hairline's here, then the back starts crowning out and going in all directions. As we know, the hair on hairpieces is not brushable in any direction. It only brushes in sort of one direction. Trying to brush back on something that's been sewn in, stitched in this way, it's going to sprawling back. So that would happen back here, especially at the crown, and that's the reason why a lot of my hairpieces look like shit, because they are side pieces and they're not designed to be put on the front of your head, because they don't all go that way. A lot of my hairpieces start springing back around here somewhere because they're cut from diagonally from the back corner of a hairpiece. I won't have that problem anymore because there's only one direction they can go. And with absolute coverage, I mean, how short am I going to cut this thing? 1.5 inches is always the minimum, because otherwise it just becomes like carpet. This isn't less than 1.5 inches, but it's already looking like carpet. So just to maybe cater to the hair length I've got now, it's going to be some kind of overhang, we know that. Let's hope the hair colour matches. It matches, and it needs to match more than usual for me now. Before it didn't matter so much because I was sort of like, you know, combining my natural bio hair along the top here and flopping it down over everything and just brushing it through, and it all blended. Now there's no more blending. It's just sitting on top of all of sides and back. And if the sides are grey, then it would people would expect maybe for a bit of this to be grey, but maybe not. Maybe it's okay. But when I do go fully grey or too grey around the back and sides, I think I know which choice I'm going to make between dyeing my hair and asking for extra greys with my hairpiece orders. We're dyeing my hair, I think. What if you get lost on a desert island though, or you get sent to prison, or go somewhere where you've got no access? Number one, right? you always want to be able to see the back of your own head, so you always take your iPad, your iPhone, and your flippy thing with you. So you need a mirror and a sink and a light. So because of a power mirror, what I would do, because usually the lights in a bathroom are no good. This is a poor man's version of my setup in there, is just flip the camera around. So you've got the good camera on the back of the phone where the light is, and you just turn the light on the video function so that once you've flipped it down from the suction cup on the mirror down over your head, you can just lean forward and you can see everything, because your iPad's on the sink in front of you. That's how you can do it while you're traveling in a hotel or we can't do it in a hostel because shared bathrooms. Yeah. In fact, you could go into a toilet stall and take some baby wipes and just clean the slime off the back above the cistern. And people will see your feet facing the toilet in a weird way. Maybe you can kneel on the toilet or something after you lock the door. Maybe through the crack in the door they'll see some weird fucking dude doing some weird shit, and you'll have your bag there with all your hair shit. There's hardly any privacy in the world if you don't have a house. Even trying to block out people from seeing inside your van is hard enough, trust me. If you wear hair, you're better off not travelling. I don't know. Like, you'd want to stay in a place where you've got your own private bathroom with a mirror and a sink and all that sort of stuff. Most people seem to just stay in one country their whole lives, though. I don't know. People don't just travel their whole lives, just live in a van, do they? They stay. They get a bathroom, that's it. It's not a problem. When the end of the world comes, you're just gonna have to accept baldness. If there becomes, world wars or problems between, say, for example, China, where your supplies come from for your hair, and whatever country you're in, you're fucked, because there's nowhere else to get them from. And you'll just run out, or you'll wear some tattered piece of shit roadkill like I'm wearing for the rest of your life, until you decide, fuck it, this is just awful. I'd rather be bald than put this thing on my head anymore. And there'll be no more glue for you to buy. You'll be using fucking ketchup and mustard and shit to try to slap that thing down. Yeah, just the alternative is transplants, hair transplant. We can do. Apparently, you've got to take medication for the rest of your life to stop your body rejecting it forever. It's like a foreign object or something, but it does come from your body, so I don't know. Maybe it's just prohibiting whatever hormones forced your hair to fall out in the first place from reoccurring. Maybe, I don't know. Like finasteride or Propecia. Just take that shit for the rest of your life. Make your dick fuck up. I assume that I'll get better measurements if I take off this hairpiece before I start using that ruler. Step one is to take this thing off my head. Otherwise I won't go ahead with any of it. I'll take this off my head. I'll play a few hours of a computer game. I'll wipe my head with a baby wipe while I'm sitting here. This could be the last time I ever take this thing off my head, by the way. This could be the last time I ever wear a front partial. No. Wait, I mustn't. I mustn't procrastinate about such things. You have served me well, but now it is time for a new age. Until I change my mind. Wow. It's both saved me and destroyed me. There was a fork in the road back there where I could have just chosen to accept baldness and all the other things. Once people find out you wear a hairpiece, they respect you less. That's where we're at. Ostracization. It's the same as somebody with fake tits. We have a little bit less respect for you now. Lip injections, we respect you less. You're fake. You're not real. But as more and more people get this stuff done, it's like, meh. You know everything I said is true. Just think about this, right? If somebody wants to insult you for wearing a hairpiece, it's just something they thought of to insult you with because they don't like you or whatever. If you were fat, they would say you're fat. If you had a stupid accent, they'd say you've got a stupid accent. Anything they can think of that will try to hurt your feelings. Or if they're a real asshole, they won't try to hurt your feelings in that way. They'll try to make you angry so that you've got anger, which is a worse feeling than sadness, right? Kind of. But it is, it's pretty bad. Because they know you can't do anything. Because you want to unleash, but if you do, you'll be in even more trouble and you could fuck up your life further. So, what I recommend in these situations is to have an axe always ready to fucking let them have it. They wanted you to be angry. They got what they asked for. But axes are expensive. I've been through so many axes. They'd offer something like a chainsaw, then you can just just refill it once in a while, just it's ready to go again. Sometimes the axe just gets stuck deep in the back of their skull and you just can't get it out. It's kind of exciting that I would have a nice full head of hair and all of this recession up here. What do you call this? This thinning up here, which is now fairly noticeable. I mean, it's acceptable here, right? That's all. But that's long. But you can see the male pattern, baldness pattern. And you can certainly see that that's all about to go. Also, I'm curious as to what all this what all these scabs are doing here, and if they'll heal or get worse with the glue on top of them. Yeah, I'm sorry, sir, but you have stage 4 baldness. Everyone who's bald knows what a toupee is, and they would have probably even considered it because they're the ones who would really consider it. Everyone else who hears about a toupee who has no balding in their own life would just think toupee, that sounds awful. That just... But it is a solution that can look good if you stick with it. Anyway, I've got nothing more to say to you. I'm just going to have to find that ruler and maybe play a computer game, and then I'll meet you in the bathroom later. That wink was deliberate, but I don't mean it. It's a joke. Okay, so I've just cleaned up my vagina. Oh, that's what Australians call taking a shower. Now I'm going to try to find out how to put on a hairpiece, because I'm starting from scratch here. I don't know what I'm doing. First thing I guess I want to need to know is, how do I make a stencil? I don't think it can be a flat stencil anymore. Pretty much has to be made out of this, doesn't it? Because that fits over there nicely. So if I measured all this, then I could cut it. Alright, let's start with measuring. An old ruler. I guess I'll measure from the front to the back. You know what, I'll wait until I've hooked all this up with a power mirror. First I'm just going to see if I can find some information on this. How to make a hairpiece template. I think more people use the word template than stencil, don't they? This is from Super Hairpieces, New Times Hair, Jake Kent, La Vivid, Super Hairpieces, La Vivid. Which one do you think I should choose? Hair Experience. They're all New Times Hair, Lord Hair. Quite a few videos here. That's Jake Kent in a La Vivid video. How to make a template. Is he making a face template here? It's from 2 years ago. Let's have a look.
Now, no matter what you do, you're going to need a template for your hair system, whether you get a stock unit or a custom unit, because this is what you're going to cut your hair system down to, or LaVivid's custom service will cut it down to make sure that way it's a perfect matchup to your specific hair loss. We all have different types of hair loss, and it's all different shapes and sizes, and it's all okay. Creating a template will allow you to have a unit that keeps the most of your hair that has been unaffected as possible, and have just the right amount
13
of
minutes.
hair system to cover what you do not have for hair. So let's jump into how to make a hair system template. All right, so now we are actually going to make a template, and I'm going to use my mannequin head here instead of doing it on myself. Now, I know a lot of you watching this are probably going to be doing it on yourself, so I'll be talking you through what that is going to look like and what are some of the challenges that you're going to face as I'm doing it here on the mannequin. And the reason that I'm going to do it on this mannequin right here is it would be very hard to film and make sure that you're seeing exactly what I do. If I do it on myself, my hands will be in front of my face. So what you're going to need in order to do this right here is you're first going to need some Saran wrap or some plastic wrap like I have here. You're going to need a Sharpie. And the other thing that you are going to need is some packing tape or some Scotch tape, basically tape that is clear. Those are the three things that you're going to need in order to make your template, okay? And it's as simple as that. It's not a very hard thing to do.
It does seem hard.
What you will need, if you're doing this yourself, is a...
But I think there's a way to do it using this thing, isn't there? Let me just write this down for a second. Or you just remember it. You remember it and tell me again when I ask, okay? I can't. I need to see the back of my own head, and in order for that to happen, I need full visibility with the system. I'll wait. All right, go on, Jake.
Set of mirrors. You're going to need a mirror on the wall in front of you, and then you will probably need a hand mirror. And I will show you at the end of the video how you're going to have to do this on yourself. Now, it is much, much easier to do this if you do it with another person. This is one of the...
Or have an elaborate mirror setup.
If you can, have somebody help you with, because it will simplify your life so much and make it so much easier. All right, so let's begin, shall we? All right, so you're going to begin by pulling out a generous amount of Saran wrap, and you're going to fold it off of...
I've never heard the term Saran wrap.
And you may need 1 to 2 pieces depending on how big your individual scalp is. I'm going to use 2 just to demonstrate what this is going to look and feel like. So the first one, you're going to make sure that it covers the front of your forehead, okay? So beyond where you actually believe your front hairline is. And I'll tell you how to find your hairline in just a moment. So we're gonna lay it down like this, and we'll work on getting this perfect in a second. But we're gonna make sure that it's nice and tight to the scalp, which you'll wanna do on yourself. And we're going to get another piece of Saran wrap, okay? So, what we're gonna begin to do is cover all of the scalp that we are going to actually be concerned with as far as what we have for hair loss, right? Now, once you have pressed the Saran wrap onto your scalp, you are going to begin twisting each side of the Saran wrap. Be careful not to actually pull and stretch out the Saran wrap though, because that's actually counterproductive. What we're trying to do is create something that perfectly mimics your scalp shape.
I can't breathe!
Now, as you can see, I am twisting both of the ends here. And we are going to actually tie this underneath the chin. Like
right.
So.
Let's look at method 2.
Right now, which is why you need a lot of extra Saran wrap. All right, now
I think I've caught a glimpse of a better method. Let's have a look. Okay, they're all using the cling wrap and tape method to make a template. I know in my mind what I think I'm going to do. I think I'm going to measure from there to the bald spot, once I can see the bald spot, and make sure the ruler isn't stretchy or whatever. Then I'm going to measure the width, I think, down to where my temples end, and this goes straight across all the way. Then I'm going to plot that out on this piece of plastic that comes with every hairpiece, the length and the width. And then I'm going to cut that into a square, and then I'm going to kind of just guess the front and rear sides. First I'll draw it. It'll just be a sort of a guess, and then with my scissors I'll have a second chance to edit that. Now I have seen that somewhere on the internet where they use one of these things. That's what made me think it's doable. That whole measuring with Saran wrap, we call it cling wrap or Glad wrap because it's a company here, Glad. There is one. I don't know if the person who made that video had the wherewithal to include the name of this thing with plastic. Look at the size of his. They're like, well, that looks like a... I don't know what a hairpiece in the end is supposed to look like. If it just sits on top, if it goes through. Anyway, I just want to see that other method first. I know it's here. Just using this thing. Look at this thing. Head template replicator. Oh, here we go. How to cut the base of your template by La Vivid Hair system. I don't know if I've ever been good enough. I'm a little bit rusty and I think my head is caving in. Lucky we got that bit chopped off. One minute 36. Oh, they've already got a template. I see front and back. Looks useful to do that. Now turn it over. Oh, they've inverted it. You got to invert it. I don't understand what that part's about. It seems mathematically identical either way. Maybe not, maybe not. Yeah, it's logical actually. Use an erasable marker to mark the shape along the edge of the template. Who's going to sit there and erase it? I don't understand, just cut on the inside, right? Use an erasable marker to mark the shape along the edge of the template back. A lot of this is wastage, isn't it, with hair pieces? Cut the excess of lace off carefully along the line you've drawn. No, that's not what they were doing. They were getting rid of the underhairs from the lace that we're poking through. I want to see somebody make a template from that thing. This guy maybe. Lord Hair.
LordHair.com, where you get the best hair systems. You're wondering, am I wearing a hat? Am I about to cut a nice, beautiful bowl cut? No, I'm going to show you how to properly measure for your hair system so you can manage this at home. Firstly, we're going to want to purchase our system from LordHair.com. But what do we need? Yes, we need measurements. And what do we need when taking measurements? Yes, measuring tape. So a simple way to be able to measure your hair system is to check where you have lost most of your hair and where you want the most significant amount of hair to be placed. In my case, I find that I have receding lines here and I want to make sure that it is fully covered at the front. So I will take my tape and measure from side to side to get the full measurement at the front, which in my case is...
It looks, he seems like the least bald guy I've ever seen. It could be very thin through the top though, but his hairline looks very solid for, I don't know.
6 inches.
It's not bad.
So once you have the frontal hairline done, you are going to bring on the sides here as well to make sure that you're covering any bald spots that you want to cover. So in my case, this is perfectly fine. So width in total is 6 inches. You want to get the front to the back, which is the length of the system. You're going to take it from where your pre-existing hairline is or where you might be able to see a few finer hairs. We create more natural oils and a sweatier forehead, which will help break down the glue, and you'll have a flappy mess sooner than you think. So we want to make sure that we adhere it at best to the front of the hairline. So you're going to take that tape right at the front and you're going to bring it to the back. You can get someone to help you to make sure that you're covering any bald spots at the back.
We'll have an elaborate mirror system.
Needs to go back down the head. So in my case, I can feel where the regrowth was before. I can get my placement at the back of the head.
You can feel where the regrowth is. Come on, I would never depend on the feel of regrowth. Surely that can't be an accurate method. And
in my case, it is about 8.5 to 9 inches. Okay, so we've done our measurements, we've done our order online. Oh, look what's arrived in the post. My hair system, and you also receive a dome. Now this dome is very, very, very important when it comes to taking measurements and to make sure that the system fits snugly on your head. You're going to take your system, you're going to place it inside the dome, making sure that it is nice and flat inside there. You can use something to fill the dome on the inside to make sure that you're getting the correct measurements. You're then going to take a permanent marker and
wait, he's already got a hairpiece that's been cut out. What's this bullshit? I thought he was going to teach how to make a stencil so that you can make your first hairpiece. It's weird that they're doing it in this order. Like he's already got a hairpiece that's been cut and now he's making a stencil afterwards.
Around the edges of the hair system onto the dome to make sure that you're getting the perfect size. Once that's done, Get your little scissors, you're gonna cut up around the edges. And look, here's one I made earlier, which is gonna fit perfectly on my head. Okay, so you're gonna place that right at the front hairline where you measured it previously. Press down nice and tightly. You have to make sure that the dome is fitting snugly on your head from front all the way to the back.
That really does look like, once you've removed a lot of this excess exterior, it will conform to the head better. At the moment it can't because there's too much bracing going on around the edges. But as he's showing here, once you've got rid of most of that external bracing, it becomes flatter and more easily placed. So this is why I trust that this method could work.
You can see that this does actually fit quite well, and it covers my temples, not my temples, it covers my receding hairline.
There's still domage. I can still see the wall through, even though he's pressing down, I can still see the wall through, so it's not going to conform completely. But I guess in the case of making the hairpiece, it would be accurate enough for pressing it down onto a mannequin head.
So it's going to be picture perfect when I place my system on. I have my trimmers, my lethal weapon that's going to shave my head. Alright, so we're going to turn it on, and you're literally going to go around.
I really am curious as to how he's going to do this, because he can't see the back of his own head right now, right? He was feeling for where his shave zone ended before. Is he really going to do this by feel? I'm very curious.
The dome, and you're going to create a line before shaving.
Oh, that's brave.
And this is basically your guide. Okay, now that everything is ready, I've cut in my lines, and I've also pressed down so hard that I marked the front of my head. But that's perfect because it'll give me even better placement when I put my system on.
No, that's actually a good idea.
Here we go, let's get shaving.
Yeah, go on, show us shaving the back as well. He's already done the back, we're not going to see it. No, they skipped it. They skipped the most crucial thing. This is what I'm talking about. All these years me wondering how people are shaving the back of their own heads. They just edited that shit out because it was so fucking awkward and difficult. They thought, no, let's remove it from the video completely. It's already been done. He's done front first.
Thank you for watching my videos.
And the placement at the back, which was crucial as well. That he omitted that. I don't understand how people can live with themselves. Why do you think I made this channel in the first place? Because of videos like this. I got a good idea that we can use this dome thing, but being able to see the back of your own head to shave it, guaranteed. He's got a camera person there with him. He's in a hairdresser. He's got a hairdresser to do it for him. Can you just get the back? Because I can't see the back of my own head and I don't know how to do it, right? He's showing he can do the sides where he's actually able to front see, right? But around the back where your hands all awkwardly bent behind you like a tortoise on its back, right? None of that was shown. I really want to see a video where somebody's actually... Let's see what this guy... This is Super Hairpieces.
Today I'll be showing you how to measure your scalp for a hair system. When ordering a hair system, knowing the measurements of your balding area is essential. Hair systems come in a variety of sizes, which is why it's all the more important to have one that fits perfectly. Now let's get started. Here's some things you'll need. A mirror, a hand mirror, a flexible measuring tape, or if you don't have one, a string and a tape measure, and China marker. We recommend taking multiple measurements to make sure your results are accurate. Extend the tape, but make sure you're not stretching it. This is crucial to ensuring accurate numbers. If you don't know where your front hairline starts, take 3 or 4 fingers, place them on your forehead, lining your pinky finger to your eyebrows, and mark with the China.
I love the accuracy of this. 3 or 4, right? So where does your hairline start? Like 3 or 4 from the top of the eyebrow, right? No, wrong. 3, okay. No, it's 3.5. That's what, about there, right? For me. Alright. When my finger's there, it's 4. When it's there, it's 3. So it's just nonsense. It's the top of the top nub. Like, this is probably too bright, and like if I gave myself some shadow maybe. Right. There. that's the top nub with my forehead. When I raise my eyebrows, I've got forehead wrinkles. Maybe some of you don't have forehead wrinkles, in which case you're gonna have to maybe just guess, because this and this are completely different, right? Depending on where your finger's placed. Your eyebrows raised when you're doing that, now it's halfway up my fucking forehead. Is it there? Now it's too low. It's so inaccurate. There's no point in doing the finger fucking thing, right? You just have to look at what look suits you. Or if you do have forehead wrinkles, it's the top. These are nubs. I call these nubs because I don't know what they're fucking called. Wrinkle. What's a wave? It's a peak and a trough. Okay, so in the trough after the final peak, that's where your hairline should begin. Unless you've got a forehead whose wrinkles only go to there, and there are no wrinkles all the rest of the way. But I don't know. I guess I haven't looked at enough people's faces up close. I'm probably wrong about everyone having forehead wrinkles exactly like mine, because they're very specific. Top of the top nub, fingernail there. That should be about right. Otherwise, just guess that whole finger, just 2, 4, or 3 fingers. Like, what the fuck is that? That's 3, right? If I start there from the eyebrows, it's 3. But now my hairline starts down here instead of where I would normally do it up here. That's a significant look of fakeness. The thing is, I'm pretty sure I will fuck this up the first time, and I will improve it over time. And given that density is no longer a mix and match sort of problem, because I'm doing that to that, I now have a much easier time of selecting a density that I prefer, and I may move to medium light density, which is more realistic. I don't know about moving to lace though. Maybe a hybrid. I've always talked about hybrids, maybe even custom, so that the entire perimeter is just easy to tape on, because it's all poly. Tape or glue. I'm thinking maybe tape if it's strong enough, and then glue at the front so I can brush it back and it's not a problem. I'm worried I'm gonna have to have the same haircut every single time. I can't ever brush that way. It's always gonna have to go down to cover over perimeter problems. But for this first time I'm gonna do it, I am going to be sticking down over my short hair. I'll just glue down onto the hair. I know there's a problem in a previous video, but that's because of all this long stuff. That's what I had to dig out the glue from. It won't be so hard to dig the glue out from little hairs. Okay? Let's keep watching this.
Marker. You may alter between 3 or 4 fingers to determine where you feel comfortable with your hairline. This method will give you the most natural looking placement for your system. Once you know where the front of your hairline begins, take a finger and find the spot on the back of your head where the thinning ends. Place the end of the tape measure on the back of your head to where the thinning ends, and extend the tape measure to the mark you made on your forehead.
That's good terminology, where the thinning ends.
When measuring the width of your balding area, use the tape measure and extend it from the left side of your head to the right. Thinning areas are not always defined, so ensure to take the measurements from where it's most prominent to get the widest reading. Oftentimes...
Wait. He had it on an angle. If I measure from there to there, just straight over like a little hairband from temple to temple, I'll just pinch that. I'm getting 6.5 basically. But if I do that again and from back here and I lean out and I go around the bulbous part and come back in, I'm getting 7.5 inches.
This is the area that aligns with your ears. If you're using the string method to measure, mark where necessary using the string, then lay it on a flat surface next to your measuring tape. Now you have accurate dimensions of your balding area, so you know the exact size to order. You can jumpstart your hair journey today by purchasing a hair system using the link below. If you require a full cap wig, we also have a tutorial on how to measure your head for that, which you can find in the description. That's all for today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications.
She's got a very difficult to understand accent. even though it's an American accent, which is the clearest in the world, but she was slurring or something. I think she said full cap, if you require a full cap. So I'm not into the lingo yet. I understand a topper goes from the bald spot to the front, right? So what's a full cap? Does it come around further or something? I don't know. I thought I was making a full cap. Isn't this going to be a full cap? I guess it's not. Measuring around there? I don't know what a full cap is. It was like a hat, but not a wig. A full cap. I'm going to have to just keep using the word topper for now until I figure out what's going on. You failed me. That's the only video I've seen lying around that uses this thing. I want to see this lady do it. She looks professional. This is from Lord Hair as well.
For this part, we are making a template for a client. So you're going to be needing a ceramic wrap.
Ceramic?
And the masking tape. You can get this any store.
That
You
would
are
stop
gonna
being...
need a marker.
If you would have masking tape, you can't see through it. I wouldn't choose non-transparent tape, but it would probably conform better because it's like papery.
And a scissor.
One scissor.
So the first part for this is you want to find out where the hairline is going to be. So you want to
That guy has the smoothest forehead I've ever seen.
mark the hairline. Always find out the center of the forehead. Some clients like to have a round hairline.
As opposed to square.
Some clients like a little recession.
Ah.
And the most natural one, you always ask them before they lose their hair to bring a picture so they can see, so you can see what kind of hairline you want for the clients. Now, when you mark the center, you want to mark another
I love how arbitrary it is. He's like, nah, bring it down about half a centimeter.
one right where
Where what?
on the temple.
Temple. See? What the fuck is a temple? Where? Tell me to stop when I've pointed at the temple. It's arbitrary.
You want to put another mark right here. You always want to look and make sure the marks are even.
By using what mathematical formula or method? There isn't one.
And then connect the marks. This will guide you to draw your hairline.
It's so arbitrary, you might as well just guess when you're making the stencil. You might as well just guess, just draw a round bit. I'm probably going to do it the way I'm saying, and I can refine it over time. She's probably doing the correct method, but...
Now, what you can do is,
Don't kill him.
Tony, I'm going to need your help.
Alright.
So you need 4 hands for this. Always with the twisting. He's got some serious ASMR going
It's not
on.
loose. Make sure
He's
it's
right here.
tight. This is to get the contour of your head.
What if you
Okay.
don't have 2 people? This is
Like
quite...
this, twist it, let go. Now, put your finger right there. Good. Now you do the same thing on this side. And now you're going to be using a marker.
And fuck it up.
And you make sure, if you're at home by yourself, you can hold a mirror so you can see where
Hold the
you're
mirror.
drawing the
You need a
line.
fifth hand.
You want to make sure you mark all the tinning area.
Yeah. She's just demonstrated that you need 4 hands just to put everything in position, right, and get somebody to draw. Now, also, if you're at home doing this by yourself, hold a hand mirror with 1 hand. What do you got left? You got 1 hand to do the rest. Think about it. That's why I had to start this channel, do you understand? Because this is all bullshit.
Now remember the marks you put. You connect these marks.
See a few wrinkles along the line. What happens when they pull it out straight? Oh, they're not going to. They're going to tape directly over it. So long as he doesn't move. Stay still, dude. Don't fuck it up. It's your hair. Look at all the wrinkles. And she's just stretched it and warped the plastic a bit. So inaccurate. It doesn't matter anyway. It's minute and
And now we're going to connect.
guess it will all come out in the mix. Well, that's the
The
thickest.
marks together.
That's the thickest line I've ever seen. It's good for TV, but
You want to double check, make sure that it's even on each side.
ooh, I don't know. She's come up pretty high on this side for me. Wow. She's missed the edge. Look at the gap there.
The
That's-
most important part for this is when you draw your line, you mark like the letter B so you know this is the back.
By the way, unless she does, she might not tell you, she probably won't tell you. The back of the hairpiece has a little Auschwitz tag here, which is not removable. And for years, this has been here and here as I've cut out thirds from hairpieces to do front partials. But the reason it matters that the back is not the front is because the lazy stitches, but it works out now that they're doing this, stitch outwards from where the crown of a human being's head is, generally speaking. So depending on the size of your head, and it's assumed most people's heads are about this size, more or less. At about this point, and I don't know how they measure out where they're going to start changing direction with the stitching, they stitch out like a star. So front all the way, right, side, and then stitch down to the back. So if your crown was positioned here, your hair would suddenly have a crown coming out in all directions at this point. That's why it's important to write B and F.
You do the same thing, you put F means the front, so you know which side is the front, which side is the back.
No, that's not, no, so, and in conclusion for why I said that is not so you know which side is the front and which is the back, it's for the specific technical reasons I just specified. Without that information, there's no reason. Bad teacher.
Once you do that, use your measuring tape. You're measuring, your...
Use transparent tape. Whatever reason there is for masking tape, it cannot overcome the need to be able to see what the fuck's going on. She's covering over. I mean, she's probably going to flip it and she'll be able to see the inside writing, so it might not matter. Maybe it doesn't matter because she will be able to see the inside. Maybe she doesn't know. But if it slips or anything else, you can't tell what's going on. So during this process, if anything happens that's incorrect, you can't switch it back into position. But then again, there are so many wrinkles on this stretched out, highly malleable cling wrap or sperm tape or whatever the fuck they're calling it.
Masking tape.
It wouldn't make any difference because it would be fucked either way. So she's just gonna flip it and she'll be able to see what's on the
Remember,
inside. She can
this
cut it
is
out.
mostly to get a perfect contour of your head.
A bit mostly to bind it, I would say. Okay, so he doesn't need to hold it anymore because it's now been bound. It's going to be a solid paper stencil, after which they're going to have to transfer onto something more durable
Once
like
you
plastic.
do this, you want to make sure you press it down to get the shape of your head.
The shape of your head at this point actually doesn't matter if you think about it. The shape of the stencil will conform when it's wrapped around a hairpiece. That can be malleable, so it doesn't matter if the shape of the head is captured or not. It just needs to stay intact without any splits.
And now,
now she's got a 1 centimeter thick line. She's got to choose, where is the, just down the middle, on the inside, on the outside? It's such a wide marker line.
use your scissor.
Only one, not two.
You make sure you cut around the edges.
Around the edges. Okay, she's been very clear about that now. No close-ups. She's
Make
very good
sure
at this.
you cut nice and neat. If you put a little wing to the side,
Okay.
that's what
Right.
they're gonna make.
We've got a bit of a close-up because I didn't think this was important to show us close-up of exactly where along that marker line she's doing. Based on the thickness of the marker, I would say she's actually gone outside of the marker line by about 1 or 2 millimeters as she hurriedly, but she's good at cutting, so, I mean, scissors are her life, I think.
Because they're gonna think that
Scissors are her life.
you want that side long.
What was that?
To the side, that's what they're gonna make. Because they're gonna think that you want.
Sorry, good.
Make sure you cut nice and neat. If you put a little wing to the side, that's what they're gonna make.
Okay.
Because they,
If you put a little wing to the side, like if you are inaccurate with your cutting, they will make it like that for you. When you order a custom piece, if you send in a STENCIL template, they're the same thing. If you send one of those to this company, Lord Hair, they will consider any inaccuracies in your stencil to be... This is weird. So you no longer have... If you're going to send this to them, you're no longer going to have a stencil at home. He surely must have his own stencil as well. But if he's letting them handle all the cutting every single time, I think it's $30 for each hair piece you get them to cut out, which would be amazing. I mean, but it's expensive if you think about lots of hair pieces. But if they're good at it, if they've got really advanced people, because I mean, cutting out a hairpiece to your size from a unit, it's hard to not cut through the hairs. And I've used my feet to hold it because I needed more than 2 hands, which is why there's a mirror system as well. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to figure out a way that I can clamp this whole thing down and cut from the back without needing scissors or scissor. Maybe that is what I need to use. Not scissors, scissor. That's not a knife. That looks very fucking sharp. I reckon this could do the job. Potentially, if I don't press too hard down through the hairpiece, I may be able to not cut the hairs on the other side. And I'll definitely get more pen accuracy. Also, I wouldn't want this thing slipping around on here when I did it. So I could potentially make an inverse. No, I can't because, well, maybe I can because it's the bowl on the top that's really preventing it. If I was able to make a stencil that was inverse, I could potentially cut around the inside and this would hold the hairpiece down onto the mannequin head. And the internal parts I could hold the internal parts down with pins. I could trace it and then I could cut it. Not only that, but if I didn't want this thing to move, the exterior part, I could potentially just pin through the plastic and through the air into the mannequin so it's just pretty solid. Hopefully this blade will not penetrate this plastic though, because otherwise I'll be ruining the template every single time. But maybe I don't need the template there. Yeah, I don't need the plastic there when I'm cutting. I just need a marked line. But if I'm marking the line on the inside of the template, the texture, the marker will be included on the whole outskirt of my hairpiece. I'd better fucking remember to keep this thing shut if I remember demonstrating like that. So yeah, I'll figure it out.
They're gonna think that you want that side long. The factory will always use what you're sending. After you cut it, you make sure you put it on you to see if it's perfect size.
Move your hand. Move your hand. Move your hand.
And now, you always want to write, again, you mark the back, front, right, left, and you write your client's name on it. And you send this
Your client's name?
with your work order and the sample to the factory, and then they will make your hair and send it to you.
Lord Hair, for a better you.
Okay, hair experience. Let's see what they do here.
We're gonna make a template. Let's get to it. Welcome to the channel, guys. Welcome to the Hair Experience. I'm Curtis, your guide. If you want to have hair, then I can help you get hair. I can do that for sure. Anyways, subscribe, thumbs up, guys. It's free. Okay, anyways, hair.mhe.com.
One second.
Use the coupon code.
I'm just going to get this. See, this is the thing, right? With this move system, I can just go and replace this battery and it'll be back up and running instantly. The new one that I've ordered, which has lights around the entire perimeter and it's smaller, will have to be recharged through a power socket. There is no faster recharge method than battery swapping.
MHE20, it'll save you $30 off of your hair replacement.
He's got a brush back look. Looks perfect.
I'm starting to get lace back
From
in
this distance.
stock, but I need to get an inventory up first to make sure that we can support it and it will continue and we won't be on a back order problem like we were. That's hairbymhe.com. Starter kits, guys. Shampoo, conditioner, leave-in conditioner. Everything is in there. Adhesive remover, tape, bond, scalp protector, cotton balls, comb, headband, everything is in there. The ebooks are available too. Just click around the website. My Hair Experience has also got all the YouTube videos, FAQs, tutorials. Guys, information is power. That's what I'm here for, is to teach. Teach on, Curtis. All right, so you're gonna make a template. All right, so with me, I ask that you make 2. One stays with me here at the office, and then one stays at home with you, so we have an exact duplicate of each other.
That makes sense. This is good. I want to see 2 exact copies. Good luck. Let's make them accurate. Good luck. Go.
So we're gonna get to it. What do you need?
13 minutes.
Clear box tape. Just whatever you're gonna box, like, close a box up with clear box tape. Saran wrap. Preferably not the cheap stuff. I don't care if it's the good stuff, it's just difficult to unroll. It doesn't matter for me.
He's using sperm tape again, but also this time he's got transparent tape. That seems to make a lot more logical sense to me.
It could be cheap or not, doesn't matter. I don't know why I said that. It's just a pain in the butt to unroll sometimes. Black magic marker, pair of scissors. I didn't bring my scissors, so I'll have to pause at some point. Anyways, we're gonna get to it. So how do you start? So you've got a couple of different ways to do this. You can do this by yourself, totally, or you can do it with someone you'll sit in a chair, let's say, like this chair.
Yeah, we understand with 2 people. I want to see you do it by yourself. Good luck. Go.
And that person could stand above. I've made videos on this before in the past, and I'm trying to go through my videos to, touch them up, to get, if there's better information, then we'll get better information out there.
How do you touch up a YouTube video? It's stuck.
Cheap. Saran wrap is not your friend. All right, so you're gonna get you a good amount of it, okay? I mean, we're looking at probably 2.5 foot there.
You know think better than me.
Why did I even buy this cheap stuff? Leave it up to me. I'm trying to be
You need a scissor.
38 cents on some stupid saran wrap and it doesn't even work.
And squanches on the end.
So now you got your mangled up saran wrap. No big deal.
Saran wrap.
This is you, okay? Super simple. And this is you're gonna say, Curtis, this is crazy. All right. So you got your saran wrap. You're gonna get it on your head. That saran wrap has to cover the affected area. Just fine. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be all laid out perfect.
It doesn't have to.
Since it's going to be on your head, and your hair is there, it's going to be slick. It's not going to stick like it is here on Josh's head. So what you're going to do is you're going to tie the knot. That's why I told you to get a good amount, in which I can barely even get him to tie a knot. You're going to tie a knot and boom. Okay. Now, all right. So Josh. Let's say Josh's head. Am I looking thin?
Look how good his hair is. He's got perfect fucking Alec Baldwin hair. Look at that. That is very good.
Over here, like everybody does, the typical half moon shape. All right, the cul-de-sac. All right, and he's got sporadic hair. All right, so these sporadic hairs. This line here is going to be the good hair. These are the random little sporadic hairs. All right. So what we're doing, try to sit back down and do this.
What are you
so
doing?
what we're going to do, if you're by yourself, you can do this with a mirror. If you've got like a compact, or you won't have a compact, but if you had something that had a fold-out mirror in it, you can use it. Or that person's going to be on top of you right here. When you make your template, you're going to get these sporadic hairs are going to be gone. You don't want them anymore. You want to get down into the good growth by about 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch. That would be like a centimeter, 3/4 of a centimeter-ish, something like that, maybe a 1/2 centimeter. You want to get into that good growth so that you have a steady line that is going to be good growth, okay? So you're gonna take, now that you've got your plastic on your
He's a good communicator, much clearer than that lady with the scissor.
head, and it's tied below you, what you're gonna do is you're gonna draw an outline into, you're gonna make it a good smooth line into that good growth. Those sporadic hairs, they're gonna be gone. You're not cutting your hair to do this now. Do not cut your hair, please. Do not cut your hair. You don't need to cut your hair. All right, now that you've done this, you've got your shape. Now your forehead or your hairline. You don't need to design your hairline. With my company, we've already designed the hairline for you. It's done. So you don't have to worry about, does this hairline look good? Does it look good? Or is it straight? Don't even worry about that part of it. With other companies, it may be possible that you have to do the best you can to make it look age appropriate. So like Josh is obviously, the mannequin here is obviously not going to have a point on his head where his hair should have been. So we're just gonna say that Josh's hair would have been here. Would have been where his normal, that's awful low. Yeah. Josh's normal area, put a big fat X there, would have been there. That's where his normal biological hair would have grown. Okay? So don't worry about it being perfect in this area of a design. You just want the line there. Okay? Now with another company, you may have to plan accordingly for that. I don't know what they do. But you don't have to with me. All right, now that we've got this line, it doesn't have to be flawless, okay? You want it to be uniform, so when you do put the unit on your head, you could be a little off, millimeter here, millimeter there, a little bit of a twist, because that could happen.
His troubleshooting and forethought to prevent problems from happening for you is excellent.
We're all human beings. The more uniform it is, the better it is to fit. Like me, for instance, I have hair that comes up here, it's really good growth, but I cut it off because I don't want this to be like a key that has to fit in a certain spot.
Nice. So you just answered one of my questions straight away.
All right, now that you've got this done, you're done with your magic marker. You're gonna take your tape, and this could be kind of loud on the microphone, so you're gonna take your tape and you're gonna go over and over again. I'm gonna pause and fast forward through this.
See, when you got a blade on your tape and it's got that much weight to it, it can sort of almost act as an extra hand for you, right? Because somebody's cutting it just by rolling it up. That's why it's good to buy lots of little tools and things, you know? Just have some tools. And obviously he needs more tools because he's running a hair company.
So it's not so loud.
Interesting choice of music. Hopefully I'm not breaking copyright.
Okay, now I'm back. All right, so what we did was we went this way, and then we went this way, and then go one more time this way. So you want 3 total rows of tape on there. This way, and then back that way. Not done yet, no says me. What you're gonna do next, so that you get a duplicate that matches as best we can. You're gonna get more Saran wrap, and you're gonna do this all over again. See how easy this is? Not taking me any time at all. This is all real time. So for filming, I'm not going to tie it around his chin there. I'm just gonna lay out another piece of Saran wrap. Now that I've got
Over the face. No.
Pause again so you don't have to hear this.
scissors. All right, so now what we've done, we put the Saran wrap on top again, this way, and this way again. So now they're stacked on top of one another. Now I didn't do all 3 directions, I only did 2 directions. So now what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your stuff off from under your chin. And you could have done this by yourself in your bathroom. So now you've got 2 with a line that you can see through both. Right? Do not forget to mark the front, guys. That is so critical. Do not forget to mark the front and the back. So now if you wanted to, you can mark the inside where the front is. I know where mine is, it's kind of where the X is. So now what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your scissors and cut to the very edge of where you need your template to be. Don't leave extra material there, because I don't know what to do with it. I don't know if I need to go to the black line or if I need to go to the, to the edge of the material that you're leaving. I don't know. So you'll probably get a call from me if that happens. All right, so cut. These are not great scissors, by the way. So just keep cutting, obviously, until you're done. Now, you'll separate the 2. Watch this like a magic trick. Boom. Now you have 2 templates. How neat, and they're a perfect match of one another. That's critical, guys. All right, so now that we've got this, you know that your front, front is here where the dot was. So now I'm gonna go ahead and mark F on this one. I can take F on that one. There's your front. There's your 2 templates that are direct duplicates of one another, that are as close to a perfect match as you're ever gonna get. You send me one, you keep one. That way, when the stylist cuts it to the template, you have the mock of it, so you can trim your scalp and you're all done. That's what I got today, guys. I hope that's helpful. That literally took like probably 7 minutes. If you were doing it by yourself, like I said in the mirror, what you'll do is you'll have your big mirror behind you, and you'll have your small mirror, like one of those handheld mirrors right here in front of you, and you're just gonna literally draw a line.
Okay. In the case of tying it under your neck, that is kind of holding it into position. So in that situation, you are now free to have a marker in one hand and a hand mirror in the other, because that's holding itself down, because like a parachute, all edges are coming together. I don't know enough English to say what. Okay, and then you tie it, and then it would just stretch. Then you could mark and then draw around. I guess, yeah, you could do it that way.
And if you look at it and you go, man, this looks janky, take the Saran wrap off, start over. Once you have your hair, like your biological hair is still there, you'll be able to see where that affected area is. Still, don't cut your hair. Yet again, don't cut your hair until you're ready to put the unit on. You'll be able to see where that affected area is. You're gonna wanna smooth your hair down as best you can so that it's not going all directions and stuff, so that you really can't see where that area is very well. But that's what I got, guys. 2 templates, one time, one comes to me, you keep one. Hit the thumbs up button. I hope my content's helpful. As always, I am so grateful for your business, my family is, and we're just happy to be here and be part of the community. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe, and we'll see you in a couple of days. Thanks.
All right, now I want to see somebody put a stencil on their head and make a hairpiece with a stencil. I might go with their approach with the tape, to make a stencil, but at the end, I don't know how solid that piece of plastic would be that it wouldn't shift with the marker when you're tracing. Whereas I don't trust that this would bend. It would stay firm, I think, this stuff, compared to sticky tape. Now I need to see cutting a hairpiece. How to cut the base using a razor. Boom, let's look at this.
So now that you have your base
Check.
template, you're probably ready to install a hair system. Now, if you have ordered a custom hair system from Levivid, you may already sent in your hair template, so that way it is perfectly cut to your dimensions. There is, however, a chance that you have not done this and that you ordered a stock unit from Levivid. That is perfectly fine. The reason that we made a template is so that no matter what kind of hair system you buy, for all of time, you will always have your particular hair system template, and you can cut down a stock unit to that specific specifications. Now right here what we have is a unit from Levivid. This is the Eros model. It's an 8x10 unit in a color of 420. So this is medium brown with 20% gray, and then it is a poly thin skin 0.03 millimeter thickness. So this right here is an extremely believable looking unit. This is a fantastic unit for you to try out. And when you first get a unit, you do have to obviously cut it down, which is what we're going to do in this video. We're going to talk about how do you take this right here, how do you transform a stock unit into something that is wearable directly for you. So you're going to need a couple things in this video. First, you're going to need your hair system. You are probably going to need a bowl or a circular surface like this mannequin head that I have my hair system on here today. You're going to need a razor like this. You can use a box cutter, or you can even get a pair of scissors. There's another way to do this. I'm going to show you that requires scissors. And you're of course going to need your template. Those are really all of the different items.
His template looks like it's made of this stuff
that you are going to need in this short video. So before we get started, let's talk about hair systems. Now, when you first purchase your hair system, it is going to arrive, it's going to look something like this right here. We see the base is completely untouched. It's in great condition. And we have the hair, which has been uncut, and it is currently ready to go. Now, one of the first things that you need to look for when you're looking at the base of your unit is what is the back and what is the front, meaning what's the back of your head, what's the front. On a Levivid unit, you will generally see a code on the back of your unit. This signifies the back right here. It has some numbers and letters, which means this is this particular hair system. So you know that's the back, and inversely, this is the front up here. Now, the first thing that we have to look at when we get a hair system is on the front of most hair systems, you are going to find that they have somewhat of a lip. You'll often find that they have a part of the hair system which does not contain any hair. It's a little lip on the front.
Lord Hair cut it off every single unit I purchased for no charge when I ordered these 6 pieces. Thank God. I hate that lip.
There's a little extra bit of plastic, it might be a little bit of extra lace, and it's your job to cut down that extra lace. Now, we can do that with either a pair of scissors or a razor. Now, it's going to be pretty hard for you to see, simply because the hair is long. And because it's long, it's kind of covering up some of this area right here. So I'm going to try my very best to make it so that you can see what I'm about to do. Now, there's 2 ways that you can go about cutting your hair system and go about removing that little bit of extra detail or fabric at the front of your unit. You can either do this by cutting it from the top, this side right here, or flipping it over. For this particular unit, I am choosing to flip it over right here. Now, you can use either scissors or you can use a razor. Now, for this particular hair system, I am about to use a razor just because I feel like I have a little extra control on the razor and it's just a little bit easier for me. So right here, what I'm doing is I'm just pulling the edge of the hair system, the very front, the lip that I'm about to take off. And I'm just applying a little bit of pressure so that way I can cut
a nice taut,
straight line across
that looks really
the
hard.
front of the hair system. And remove any of the extra poly that does not have any hair on it. Now, once again, you don't need to worry about if you do nick a couple of the hairs at the front. It's not the biggest deal
it's not great.
ever. Now, for doing this right here, you don't need to use a template because all you're doing is removing part of the hair system
Tell the
that
factory to
doesn't
do
have
it.
any hair on it. And if you order a regular unit without any recession, it should automatically give you the right hairline, unless you are looking for some frontal recession. Now, what I'm doing, I'm just simply cutting through the front of the unit where there is no hair, and I am pulling taut on this part.
I think I'll be using pins for most of this
that
kind of
way
cutting.
There's some tension, and we're just removing the extra poly.
You don't want any exposed base along the front hairline. It looks terrible. It's much easier to do it before you put it on your head. So hopefully Jake has done a good job here.
Right here. All right, so now we have cut the very front of our hair system, so that way we've gotten any of the excess poly or lace off of the unit, so we're good to go there. Now, the next step that we're going to be doing is shaping this hair system to our hair system template. So what you're going to need to grab now is your hair system template. So grab yours and follow me back into the video. All right, so we now have our hair system template. We have our template right here. What we're gonna first do is we're gonna flip this over. All right, so there we go. This is the front of our hair system. This is the back down here. Remember, we can see the code right here, and that signifies that it's the back of the unit. So as we can see, the front of our hair system is gonna match up right with the front of our template. But as you can see, this hair system is way too big for my personal template. And that means that we have a little bit of work to do to make sure that it is the right size. So the first thing that you need to do is make sure that your template is actually inside out.
Okay, that's a good point, inside out. Very good point. Why? Yeah, because otherwise you'd be putting... Why? Why does it have to be inside out? Isn't it symmetrical? I'm assuming a symmetrical piece here. Why do you need to turn it inside out? He's about to explain, but I just want to guess. I can't figure it out. It seems like it wouldn't matter if it was inside out or not. But my realization just now is that making an inverted stencil, where I'm cutting around the inside of the plastic, it's not worth it. Because any marker, if I decide to mark it instead of just cutting, I probably will mark it. The great thing though, if you are able to push plastic down onto the hairpiece, it gives you tension for cutting purposes. It'll make it easier. I know that what I'm saying is probably superior to every other method that we've seen, including what he's about to do, because he's struggling with the tension already. So I'm thinking we need to invent a way to make a stencil that also is a tensioner. So when it comes time to making the plastic squeeze out for the purposes of easy cutting. But we'll see what he does here, and also I want to know the reason why you have to invert it.
Because we are actually putting the, if you flip your unit inside out, we're going to make sure that it is corresponding to your head in the right way, or else we'll have a mirror image.
It's symmetrical.
So all you have to do is just flip it inside out. And then the first step is we are going to match our hair system template to the very front of this hair system right here. Now it looks...
The only reason your hair system would not be symmetrical is if you didn't shave your shave zone accurately, right? I think you can assume symmetricalness with a hairpiece.
Like this
I think you need to
particular
flip it.
unit, we're going to have to start cutting a little bit at the front. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually, you want to keep tension.
Like that's a mannequin head. It looks violent what he's doing because this guy looks a bit too real. Anyway.
on this unit right here if you have it on a bowl or a mannequin. Now you can use some bobby pins and put them in through the top of your template, through your unit, so that way they're staying together, or you can hold it down by putting pressure on it. And if you do that, make sure that you keep consistent pressure on it, so that way it's not moving around. All right, so we're gonna begin by cutting right here. So I'm gonna use a razor, and the reason I use a razor is because
this is the first time I've really seen the arches on a hairpiece. This shape is probably a good idea, this arch system he's got. I was thinking I have to come around bowler, like just straight across, but the arches seem to make sense.
I can get very, very precise with this. The reason that we're doing this upside down is because if
He is using the template as a tensioner. He's just doing it in an inverted way. So if you bobby pinned that and then bobby pinned that as well, then that would be fully the solution. But he's not using a marker on the hairpiece at all. So if he makes any mistakes, he can't easily get back to the position he was in. But I love the idea of not needing a marker.
we cut with a razor while this unit is upside down, we are guaranteed to not cut the hairs on the opposite side of this. An important thing for you to know is that you don't want to cut the hairs inside of the hair system, what we're going to keep. If you do that, those hairs will wind up short and it'll be a very unnatural look. So now at the end of the video, I'll show you another way that people do this, and I'll explain to you why it's a little bit tougher and a little bit more time consuming. But for this right here, it's really important that when you use a razor that you are very, very gentle with it. So it's going to look like I'm putting a lot of pressure on this hair system right here, but I'm really not. In fact, I'm barely scratching it. And the reason for that is I'm just trying to barely create an incision on.
I think he could achieve a better result if it was tensioned. This isn't enough tension.
This hair system. Now when you finally cut through, you'll feel it starting to snag a little bit. It'll start to pull a little bit, and that's how you know that you're cutting through the material. Now, you don't want to go any harder than that because you don't want to start cutting the actual hair on the other side of this unit. Make sure that you keep pressure as you're doing this work right here, or else it's very possible that your hair system could slip underneath.
Think of the pressure of that blade on his fingers right now. Get one of these. Look at it, how sharp that thing is. Swing.
So you'll see that I'm starting to mimic the line of my template that I just made with this hair system right here, and it's starting to give way.
Guys,
as I'm doing this,
rough.
I'm making sure that I'm not putting too much pressure to cut through the unit. And I'm testing to see if it's
That needs to be
cutting. Make
tensioned.
sure that you don't stretch out the unit as you do this too, because if you stretch it out, you run the risk of it not actually being matched up to your template. These poly thin skins do have a little bit of stretch in them, so it's hard to get it exactly correct, but the idea is that you should match your template pretty nicely. So this piece is about to release now. Boom, there we go. And we're going to make our way down through here. So you can see we're starting to pick up a little bit of speed, it's starting to get a little bit easier. And this hair right here is no longer attached to our hair system.
All right, so with a headpiece this big, I guess it's more forgiving because, I mean, that black mark is multiple millimeters away from the edge that he's just cut. Half a centimeter, like 5 millimeters, that's a lot. Now with my front partial, that would be usually a bit of a problem. If it was 5 mil too short, it would be there, and it wouldn't meet or whatever, right? 5 mil too long, it's now midway down a nub. I guess a nub is a centimeter for me. So yeah, that'd be a lot bigger. He needs tensioning to get that done better though. I was going to start just trying to push one of these pins through here. These pins are very weak and it takes a lot of pressure to push through plastic here. This mannequin head is designed for wig makers, so it takes pins. It's made out of cork or something inside. But I don't really want to start poking holes in this yet because I've got a better idea. I'll want to know where the center is of my template for more accuracy. And I just realized that pinholes will be something that my brain will look at when I'm trying to line things up. So it is better that I get the pinholes exactly. I can even drill them if necessary and just push it all the way in so that the head of the pin is the thing that's stopping this from bouncing back out. And other measurements along the hairpiece that are useful to me. Like where the temple starts maybe or something, like the pins could go along there, I don't know. But the pinholes, I'll wait because I think they will be something that I'll be looking at all the time at my template. And I don't want to have to make templates over and over again.
This is all of the excess hair and material of the base that we are cutting off right now. Don't worry if this takes a little bit of time, especially your first time. It can feel very anxiety producing because here's the thing. You don't want to mess up your brand new hair system that you just bought, right? You want to take care of it, you want it to last, and cutting it could feel very, very stressful, but it doesn't have to. Recognize that you're not going to make a big mistake. You just need to go slow, take your time.
It's going to take forever.
Listen to some music while you do this.
We do 6
Have
at
a
a
little bit
time.
of fun. And it's going to be okay. Okay, so we have a little bit more of the hair system removed. And it's really starting to come out now. We're really starting to see this hair system take shape.
His method is basically cutting and ripping. You can see the tattered edge all the way along. That would definitely result in exposed base that you would have to remove in post-production. Along around here, I think what most of you hair wearers have been doing all these years because you haven't had a reverse camera to see the back of your own head properly like this, right? So you can see accurately what's going on. Is you've just been winging it, you've just been fucking slapping it down and just hoping for the best that your hairs will cover any gap or overhang, and it doesn't matter that much. Well, you got me now, so that's all about to change.
We're looking at the back of the hair system right now. This is going to be the other
Unless
side.
I don't know how to do it.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start over here and I'm going to approach where we just cut. And as you do this, you start to kind of get a feel for the material and how much pressure you have to apply in order to cut through
Sounds
the
like
material, whether
ripping.
it's lace or poly.
I don't think it is, but
It can take a bit at first to really kind of get that feeling correct, but once you get it right, it tends to go much quicker. Like I'm starting to get the feeling of this particular poly,
okay.
and it's starting to come much faster
Good.
than
That's
when we
good.
first started.
Good.
We can see that it's really starting to release, and we're getting pretty close to the shape of our final hair system. Don't be afraid to pull at it gently like this right here, like I just did. If you pull at it a little bit to just kind of release a little bit of a snag that you have of material that's holding on with poly, it's okay. We're almost
Light battery
there.
warning.
You can see all this material is starting to come loose now. All right, we are approaching this unit being done.
That bit looks hard.
So now we're just going to clean up the very front. Looks like we have to take a little bit off the front hairline to match it up to my particular hair. So we'll just keep on doing the same exact thing, using a very light.
So Jake has done these arches, and I think Curtis, from my hair experience earlier, said he got rid of extra hair there. Even though he said he had good hair, he just got rid of it. That sounds like two different approaches to me, unless I'm missing something. Because these arches are quite significant on this stencil.
Touch. Nothing too incredible. We're putting the final touches on this. And look at all of this material.
It's not about just covering your bald patch. If you have a hairpiece that is a good haircut, you just put it on and your hair's done. So if you've got to sort of grow these side bits weirdly and it's hard to shave because the accuracy, I don't know. There are two factors here. One is the shave zone difficulty. Like, is it easy to cut a straight line, or is it just as easy to cut an arch when you're shaving your shave zone? I don't know. It'll be easier for me than everyone else because I've got this proper system. So I can see the back of my own head, but I've never done it before.
That just came loose. So I know it can be tough to see when I'm doing it, but I'm holding with my index finger. I'm actually holding the plastic taut. I'm not stretching it, but I'm holding it tight. So that way, when my razor touches it, it's more likely to cut through it, if you will, because poly in particular can have some stretch to it, and it can be a little bit tough for the...
I might also have to figure out a way to reinvent pins, because it would be better to have like two prongs just going down in a hook system with a central pickup zone, or like sideways. I don't know, but a single pin, I don't know. I think if I could get a great like conk, like just one thing, just stab it in, and it's like a fork even. I'll have to think about that. If these things are not the easiest possible solution, I might have to reinvent pins. I'm not going to build them. They have to exist for something, but they're probably, I don't know, wig makers might have something like that, I don't know.
For the razor to kind of cut through it. But if you hold it tight, like I'm telling you to do, I'm trying to show you how to do, it will, for the most part, just come and release very easily. All right, we now have a hair system that matches our template right here. We used our template in order to cut it down. And now this is perfectly going to match our area of recession, what we're going to shave our head and replace with a hair system. Now, if you use a razor and you have some areas that you want to go back and just smooth out a little bit, you can absolutely do that. It's very easy to do with either a razor or a pair of scissors. Just go back to a little area if you deviated a little bit from your template, and you can go back and cut it. And after that, it should be pretty much ready to go. We did a good job on this hair system right here, so we're not going to need to do that. But for now, that's all that you really have to do in order to prepare your hair system.
Show us the underside. No, I mean, I got the vibe that if he'd flattened that out so we could actually see what he created, it would have been just flat all the way along, even though what we saw was a rounded side. So I'm confused now. If I draw straight lines, it's all about geodesics, isn't it? If you press something on a round surface and then you open it up so you can look at it, it's no longer like a triangle when drawn on a globe has more than 180 degrees. So I mean, I'm a bit confused here. I need to see him making his stencil. That's La Vivid hair system, but I'm sure Jake has his own channel. I'll find him. Let's see. How to make hairpiece like template. It already is the results for that. Okay. Let's go through this again. See if we can find Jake. How to make a hair system template in 5 minutes, super easy way.
What is going on, everybody? Today we're going to be talking about how to cut down a brand new hair system that you get in the mail. When you first get them in the mail, they often look like this, and they may be way too big for you to wear. How do you get them to match your template? This video is going to show you step by step how I do it. Remember guys, this video is sponsored by LaVivid Hair. LaVivid Hair makes a great product. They do great work. They have good customer service with 2 different phone lines and an email address. They'll get back to you in 24 hours. I'm currently wearing the Cruise model right now, which is 130% density, so it is a little bit thicker, which means that I can get a little bit more longevity out of the unit itself. Go ahead, check out what they've got in stock. Use my code J15 to get 15% off any order, any size, and come back into this video and I'm going to teach you something real quick. Let's go. All right, guys, you know how this journey starts. Let's get this unit off. So as you can see, got hair growing out on the sides, a little bit longer. So we are going to go with an interesting hairstyle today. All right, guys, so now what I'm about to do is I'm about to make a template so that way I can take the shape of the current hair system that I have and apply it to my new hair system. All I actually use is these things right here. They come with almost every single hair system. Every single hair system I've got has come with one piece. They're basically a backing to keep the shape, but they can be used a special way in order to make a template, which people don't really talk about or seem to think about. So I'm actually about to make that and I'll show it to you. All right, guys, so as you can see, I've actually marked this up with the template of my unit. What I'm about to do now is cut
he's
this
already got one
up so that way it is the shape of my template.
No, so now we can't see him make it. That sucks. I want to see him measuring his head. He's just copying an existing template.
There we go. Now I have the template of what I'm going to be using for my new hair system. So now we're going to take this. We're going to take this new system and we are going to actually cut it to shape. Remember though guys, the first thing that you really got to do is you got to take this little lip off of the front of the hair system.
Get it done at the factory.
Because there's no hair there. So this is just something to remove that extra little flap that's there in production, and then you can cut it. Okay, so now we can see that this unit has actually been attached to a mannequin.
I'll get some of those.
Some bobby pins inside of this, so that way there's no movement, and we can see that there is a clear distinction of what we're going to cut along this entire unit. Right now you're looking at the very back of the unit. You can see this tab, you can see the identification number of the unit. This right here facing me is the front of the unit, and what we're going to do is we're going to start following and tracing the unit. Now, there's 2...
Did you see how the front of that unit lines up exactly with the shape of the front of his stencil? I think what he must have done is placed one of these hair pieces on his head and plotted out exactly how these things landed on your head to begin with, and that way he was able to make it like if I was able to figure out well this is the Lord hairpiece, exactly where that and that roundness is. That could be the starting point of my new stencil. Or I could just walk around like this. Don't worry about ever doing a hairpiece again. Just walk around with one of these things. Ooh. I do feel very bald without my hairpiece on right now. Fucking hate it. I might go and just slap on my old hairpiece. I said I'd probably never wear it again, but it's been too long. Alright, let's go.
Ways that you can kind of do this, the way I'm going to show you, and the other way is to actually mark the unit from below and then cut with scissors from the top to specifically make sure that you're not actually removing some of the hair in what you're trying to keep. But what I find is by using a razor, like what I'm doing right now, and being very, very gentle as we're cutting, you actually don't wind up losing any of the hair underneath, of the unit that you're trying to keep. Basically what I'm trying to say is you don't cut the hair short on the unit, and there.
This hybrid system with a poly perimeter and lace in the middle looks extremely breathable. And I've been waiting weeks for mine to arrive. I've ordered that already. With mine, I've ordered it, well, surprise, surprise, bleached at all the roots, both on the lace and the poly. But I don't know how well they're going to do it. I sent their last piece back to them, which was hundreds of dollars, and they still haven't received it. When I look at the mail report, it's stuck in China. It's never arrived at the destination. They could have refused it when it got there, so they could make up some bullshit, so they never have to take it back or give me a refund. That was a 0.02 millimeter poly base. I don't know what they're doing. Anyway, this custom piece has taken months. This is why I always like go for the stock piece. Just guess your hair color, go for the stock piece. I don't know. But this makes sense, right? A hybrid. But I don't know how that central part sticks to your head. Maybe just tape on the lace itself, and then glue around here. I don't know. But you see, when you cut the stencil out, there's only like a centimeter left here after it's going to be cut out. So I don't know.
For this is just a faster, easier way to do
What's the
it.
battery gone on this thing?
Both of these work, so I'm going to do this and try to demonstrate how.
Get a replacement. This battery is a dud. I found this out the other day. This one hadn't been charging that long, so we'll see how this goes. Just from a distance, it looks like we're watching a horror movie, doesn't it? Because of the lighting.
How I do this. So I'm basically going to try to trace the outline of the unit. And it should feel like a gentle tearing of the plastic. As you can see, this is starting to give way right here. And I'm barely putting any pressure whatsoever.
Maybe there isn't a method of making it more tense.
Right here.
Maybe his knife isn't sharp enough. His blade.
As you can see, this is starting to give way. Now this right here, I will admit, is probably a little less precise than the other way, which I told you. You flip it around and then you cut it from the top. Because there is a chance that your razor cuts through and actually winds up removing some of the hair that you wanted.
Damn it, I was hoping it wouldn't.
But I find that it's not. In this case, I am trying to move fast.
By the way, what he's doing right now, I totally thought I invented that. That's why I bought all these components. Looks like it's standard practice.
I'm trying to move fast because I actually have an appointment to put on this brand new unit and I'm running behind. So therefore, we're doing what we have to do. But as you can see right here, I don't know if you can see it, it's actually not cutting much of the hair right at the side of the unit. So we're good to go. And then once you get this started, it becomes much easier to manage.
Oh, because he's pulling, and this is pinned down, so he can use 2 hands for that.
Because you can kind of pull and create tension on this right here. And when there's tension, it rips so easy. Not rips, but pulls apart so easy, if you will. And the reason I think this is easier is because when you do it from the top, you have to separate the hair
from the top
you go along to make sure that you're not cutting any of it from the top. But if you do it very precisely and gently from the bottom, you're automatically guaranteed to not lose the wrong hairs. The only tricky thing that you have to make sure that you're managing is you're not cutting too deep with the razor. Like, you're not pushing too far into it, because what happens is if you're too aggressive and you plunge the razor through, you'll obviously start cutting some of the hairs, which is very easy to do.
You might be thinking, why doesn't he just brush all the hairs inwards to the center so that no hairs are facing outwards? In order to achieve that, we would probably need to cone out the top of the mannequin head so that the hairs could all have somewhere to go to, and then it would lose its structure. You could also have some sort of netting mannequin maybe, but then there's nothing to press against really if the nets aren't big enough. Or a vacuum inside the mannequin head that could suck the hairs in, so that the hairs all get out of your way, so that they're all coming inwards away from where the razor's going to be. But it's probably too hard to do to bother with. But he's holding it down with pins, which means anything he shoves up like hairs would stay. He's got the pins holding down this bracket, which would force. If I wet this, it'll work better. If you do one side at a time, alright, those tense down. Potentially I could press as hard as I want and it wouldn't be a problem. But hairs might, in a minute way, go that way a bit before turning back around, and that little bit would be sliced off when you do it. Probably not worth the risk. Probably better just to do what he's showing you. Just try to figure out a better way for having tension so that, and maybe sharper blade. I've considered heat. Is there a way to melt your way through? Because heat is instantaneous cutting, isn't it? It would probably warp your plastic stencil and fuck it. It would probably also create crunchy, hard plastic bits along the edge, which you'd have to dissolve off the edge. Maybe you could just heat the tip of the knife. Yeah, so if I had a blowtorch or something hot here, or just if I could rest this on some sort of stove so it had a bit of heat, maybe it wouldn't be so bad that it would melt. It would definitely melt this plastic holder. I'd have to get a different knife. I'd have to get a metal knife with a, heat-proof handle, heat up the end of the knife, and then just go around with it. It would you'd have to make sure you didn't melt things too badly though. You just want that tiny tip of the blade to just easily go through. And I would say heat is probably the answer here, more than anything else. You want tension as well, probably. That'd be a bit of trial and error. I'll have to work on that one.
So this requires a gentle touch to make sure that you are only cutting the polyurethane. So as you can see, I'm still pulling. I'm barely putting any pressure on the actual razor. right now specifically. A lot of times I'm kind of doubling back, you might see, and recutting the same thing because I haven't cut through it. Because I'm being so light on it. There we go. On the last side. So as you can see, it's really kind of coming apart now. It's pretty easy as long as we just keep on the tension of this unit. And we're just about there. We have literally just a couple inches.
That whole showing something and then speeding up the timer and then just continuing, I'm pretty sure I invented that.
It's less than an inch, half an inch now. I should have placed this bobby pin somewhere else because it's kind of missing my brain a little bit. Boom. Alright, there we go. We have removed.
But he's using high quality cameras and shit. So I taught him everything he knows, but he's gone a few steps further with this video technique. Look, he's got depth of field going on and nice lighting. I'm just like raw, right? Oh, I'm eating chips while I'm presenting to you. Oh, yeah.
Almost everything minus this last little piece right here. I'm actually going to take this bobby pin out. And voila. Here we go. Okay, we are taking the bobby pins out right now. Let's see what we got. So we got our template, and now we have our unit. Boom, there we go. All right guys, so it's really as easy as 1, 2, 3 as we just walked through today. We now have the front of our unit, the sides of our unit, the back of our unit.
Show us the unit.
And I actually just showed you a brand new way to make a template, which I don't think anybody has ever done that before.
He read my mind and he just went and did it. Okay, let me just say, I thought I'd invented it, but he must have 100 monkeys my mind into thinking it's the way to do it. So who gets the credit? Huh? I'll let you decide. When was this published? Three years ago. Alright, he gets the credit.
But now I'm just going to get on the tape and just put it on my head and I'm going to get my hair cut. But remember guys, please remember to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell below to stay notified of everything that is going on this channel, tips, tricks, all that kind of fun stuff. Every single time you do one of those actions, it pushes it further out on YouTube. And make sure more people get this message. We will talk soon.
Please show me making a stencil, Jake. Show me making a stencil. Like, not tracing one. I want to know why he's got those curves. Measuring. Love that music.
What I'm going to do is take the plastic wrap now. As you can see, I got enough to cover my head so I can go and make the outline. And I'm just going to go ahead and bring this up. This is the part where you can cut it. So this is how you do that. I'm going to bring it up now.
The tinfoil.
Actually, let me cut it with scissors. I think it'll be easier with scissors. So I'm going to get my scissors and I'm going to go ahead and just cut it. It's real easy. Just
What is that stuff?
Just cut it straight across. Okay. And then now what I'm going to do is put this on my head so I can go ahead and make the outline with the marker.
That's the loudest plastic wrap I've ever heard.
And this is a little sticky too, which is what I like about it, or saran wrap. There's some parts that are just sticky on it, and it'll stick to your head better.
Saran.
This is a saran wrap, which is more more slippery a little bit, and it's kind of hard to trace it with the marker. So I use the black plastic wrap. So I'm just going to attempt to go ahead and do it like this, so flat against my head.
It is sticky. What the fuck is that?
It feels nice and flush and flat against your head like that. So there's that. Okay. Make sure I get the wrinkles out. Now I'm going to get my marker. If there's a little bit of wrinkle, that's fine, because you're going to put tape.
I want to know what the final shape is. Oh. See how he sees the back of his own head?
And then, yeah, kind of go from there. So I'm going to do the sides. So let me just see here. I'm going to straighten this out. Okay, and then I'm going to go and I'm going to start tracing along here where the sides of it are going to be, like right there. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the other side.
He's got an arch tube.
See how I'm doing that?
How is he seeing
What I'm
that?
going to do is get a mirror, another mirror, so I can see if I need to go a little further down on the sides. Remember, I can't see that part. Oh yeah, that's perfect. That is absolutely perfect, I think. Yep, and all I need to do is just finish that line there in the back, and then I'll be done. So I'm going to go ahead and finish my line there in the back. What you can do, a little trick, this is what I do, is now at this point, since you have the hairline and the sides traced, all you do is draw a line on the back to meet the two lines right here, so it can close off and make the perfect template. So what I like to do is take it actually off right now, and I'm simply going to go ahead and fill on that line. See that line?
The wrinkles held it.
I'm going to go ahead and just do it like that, because you get it more accurate, because you already got these lines and these lines as your reference point. So now it's either go and draw that line there, and then after that I'm going to proceed to put in the tape over it to finish the process up. So as you can see, I'm just going to take a line. You can't see what I'm done, but I'll show it to you when I'm done. Maybe here, actually I'll show you. So I'm going to hold it up. I'm going to draw a line there. Oh, let me go down a little bit longer there. Just follow that line. A little bit longer, needs to be longer there. And now watch, I'm going to go ahead and connect them like anybody would anything. Connect the dots. So that's what I'm going to do. It's going to be kind of tricky. Okay, let me do it on the flat surface and I'll raise it up and show you. See, I know too what my curvature on the back of my hair looks like, so I can draw it accordingly by memory.
What?
What? You want to go and have a second person help you out with that? So there it is. So as you can see, I just drew the line in and connected it. There you can see a little bit better there. And now what I'm going to go ahead and do is I put it back on my hair, and that way, because that'd be easier to go ahead and
I'm just going to pause all this for now, charge the batteries and try to process what this guy just fucking did. That's crazy. Just gas, take the whole thing that's conformed with wrinkles. This cannot work. It has to stay on your head and be taped while it's on your head up, because the wrinkles are... That's going to be wildly inaccurate, but he's probably had someone make one professionally in the past or something. Either that or he has hair pieces that don't fit properly. I just got to let him speak for a second.
The tape and then the scissors. I'm going to put it back on my head, put the tape all on it, and then we'll be good to go. I'm going to put it back on my head, because it's easier to put the tape on it while it's on your head if it's on a flat surface. You see that? You see how the lines from the side and back, how it pretty much is a good match all the way around, where the hair system is going to go?
I've never seen such translucent.
So now I'm going to take my tape and then just put tape over it, a lot of tape. So that's what I'm going to do now. So I'll give you another close-up of it, how I did it. So there it is from the top again. Okay.
I'm just opaque.
And then get the scissors. This might take a long time, so I might edit it, but yeah.
It might take a long time because all you do is go cut, cut. You don't even need to cut it, just tear it. One, and you just line them all up along the front of the sink, and then you got like 15 pieces of tape. Then you just go 1, 2, 3, 4. That's why. Don't cut the meat individually.
Now just keep doing a lot of tape like that.
That's too many ends.
Okay, just on more tape until you get it fully covered, and that's what you're going to do.
Am I supposed to dance to this fucking music? What the hell is with the music? Oh no.
I'll now finish the rest with it off my head. Oh yeah, it's really good. So I'll finish the rest of it off with my head. I'll do it on a flat surface here on my bathroom counter.
We're gonna flat stuff
So
up.
now here it is before pre-cutting the template out. Because remember, now I'm going to go ahead and cut all around there to cut all this excess tape and material. So I'm going to cut all around there. So there, that's what it should look like once you have it on your head.
Well, if that's all it takes,
Okay.
it's probably the worst stencil I've ever seen.
And just start cutting. Just cutting around that line, just like in kindergarten. Excuse me, just like in kindergarten, just cut along the lines. So real easy.
Really?
See, I'm just cutting along the lines. You don't want to cut the lines itself, just cut it around so it makes a perfect shape to your template.
What?
There's that.
What? I don't understand what he's doing.
So you can really get up close to it and do it perfectly. Cut
Oh.
all the excess tape and material off.
Why didn't you just do it that way the first
I'm a
time?
perfectionist. And just make sure you cut all the exactly how you want it, because they'll make the template exactly to this when you send in for a custom unit. So they'll go and cut it exactly to how your template is. So you don't want to have any excess tape or excess material coming out. You want it to be perfect along for your template. Like this little material right here, I'm going to cut that off because you don't want that to be part of the hairpiece. So I'm going to cut that off.
Why bother?
So all I'm doing now is cutting the extra little pieces off so it can be exact. Okay, so there we go, I did it. So that's pretty much it. And there is my template. That's how you do it. Just easy, real simple. And again, look how this matches. It's now perfect to my actual head. Yep, that is absolutely perfect. And
Yeah,
you see how
10 out of 10.
The hairline, I'll probably go back in and cut and straighten out the hairline of the template, but
Yeah.
I didn't want to spend too
Why
much
bother?
time on that because you guys get the idea. But there it is. See how this matches? Like
It doesn't. Look at
cut down to your
Turn around.
template, we have
Turn
a
around.
perfect match.
Hot knife. Looks pretty bulky. And of course I gotta get it shipped from America. It'll take ages. Weeks. I want to start cutting tomorrow. Looks a lot more accurate than soldering iron though. But how accurate do we need to be, really? I mean, it would be nice to have a blade, but if it's hot anyway, could I just use a cordless soldering iron? What am I thinking? If I cut through the back of a hairpiece with a soldering iron, the whole place is going to stink of burnt hair because I'll be burning through the hairs. I don't think it can work. Sure, I'll get through the back, but even if it touches, the hot metal touches the hair, it'll melt the hair. I need to be able to adjust the temperature maybe. Does a warm knife cut better than a cold knife? Or is there a threshold temperature where plastic simply melts out of your way? It's not like plastic is going to melt and hairs are not going to melt or burn. But you saw how Jake, when he was cutting that out, there was not enough tension. And I thought, if you have heat, you can eliminate the need for tension. It'd warp the plastic stencil. It's almost not worth investigating. I don't really know about metal temperatures in terms of heating. Like, I know 0 and 100, they're like water temperatures that I'm aware of. 0 is freezing and 100 is boiling. when water turns into a gas. But when you talk about ovens, you're talking about 250 degrees. That's cooking temperature. If you left a knife in the oven and you went and picked it up, it would be the same as, be worse than picking it up from a stove, because there's no part of that knife that isn't hot. And through the metal, if you left it on a stove, it would be hot on top as well. Probably almost the same temperature as underneath. But maybe not. It's just everything's hot at that point to my skin. So it's like, I might as well touch the sun, but probably not, because the whole body would be... In fact, I wouldn't get close enough to the sun. I've heard that in space, the spacesuits have to withstand like extreme 250 degree temperatures on one side of their body and negative 250 or whatever it is on the other side of their body. What is 0 Kelvin? I think it's negative 273, isn't it? I've heard that the general temperature of space is negative 270, like 3 degrees higher than absolute zero. I don't know. Yeah. We need a rocket knife. No. Cutting fabric of any kind is massively aided by simply using tension. By putting heat that's hot enough to melt it, you're cauterizing the edges. And they're no longer maintaining their natural edge. They'll be warped and melted. The cutting knife idea, I don't think it can work. We simply need tension. So it's all about pins. The ones Jake had in his video, those transparent push pins, they're long enough for my purposes, except for maybe when the bowl is not yet cut into a stencil, because there's quite a bit of air gap to begin with. But that problem will be gone the moment I cut out a stencil. Then it can warp down a bit to its position. I think that thing you said about flipping it inside out, that would only matter if it wasn't symmetrical. Surely there's nothing wrong with my brain in that, is there? That's correct, isn't it? I will try to make it perfectly symmetrical hairpiece. Symmetrical in one direction. I don't know what symmetrical in that direction and that direction is. That's not what I'm trying to achieve. I expect that the back part could be different. The back could be different from the front. And what I saw when Jake pressed his stencil against the hairpiece that had been delivered to him was that the front of his stencil conformed exactly with the front of his company was La Vivid. However, they designed the front of theirs, that curvature, it was exactly the same as his hairpiece without him having cut anything yet. So, step one in making a stencil for myself, after I've measured this distance and this distance, whatever this distance is, because it seemed to fluctuate with Jake, right? Because he had arches. I would have thought, but then again, like this is that geodesic thing again. If you maintain that straight across, rather than arching it, I'm just trying to think of what would look more natural. Straight across. I can't remember what I was about to say, but now I'm lost in thought about which one of those two. I need to see more people's hairpieces to figure out if what Jake's doing there with that arch is standard practice, to arch over the ear like that, or whether it's standard practice to go that way. Obviously got two options there. I really want to be able to just keep my hair all short and just stick a hairpiece on and it just works without me having to contour or have big growing build up around these areas. Because if I'm going to go full retard on this, I just want to be able to worry about just the hairpiece and not maintaining all my bio hair. I just want the bio hair problem to just be shave zone and trim and no contemplation required. Reasonably speaking, just using a bit of logic here, given that I say 1.5 inches is the minimum hair length you want on a hairpiece before it starts sticking up in the wrong direction and looking like carpet, like doormat, is that I could try to grow out my hair in a horseshoe, shaving out that center part at 1.5 inches long, and uniformly have that at 1.5 inches and just use styling product and everything to just keep that all, making it styled nicely. Also at 1.5 inches, I haven't got too much curl or buffiness yet. That's a later on problem. In the meantime, because I don't know how to use clippers to just do 1.5 inches, because after an inch, whatever, it's the clipper mechanism, the guard, no longer has the capacity to lift the hairs up right. They get flopped over as you push the clippers along your head. The hairs fall. If they're short, they stick up and you can just cut them, right? Anyway, I think I'm dodging a bullet by avoiding the hot knife, unfortunately. Tension is probably the only real reasonable way to do this. But I am still interested in watching more videos on the shape of people's hairpieces, so I get an idea of, should I go over with an arch, or should I just go straight across like that? This Lord Hair video of how to cut your hair system down to size. They're using scissors. You can't hear the music, but it's all jazz and sexy saxophone music and shit. It's completely inappropriate for cutting out a hairpiece, but that's what they love to do. Shove in some crappy music, elevator music. This is what I've always done in the past, but I've always had to use my feet as a third hand. This person's doing it with two hands because they've got a mannequin head now. And I guess that's something I can look forward to. It's a bit of an advantage having such a big hairpiece that sort of stays and rolls around in position, because this... And they also didn't use a stencil. They just measured there to there with a ruler and just marked it with a white. I think it's washable, the pen they're using. Let me rewind this a bit so you can see. Check this out, I'll just rewind back. See, look, there's no stencil. Mark out where you were cutting it out, right? No stencil whatsoever. We're just guessing. Just all freehand. Good scissors though. Well, okay, so reasoning this through now. The method I invented, that Jake claims he invented, but I invented it in my mind independently, might not be the best way. Good, strong scissors that have no problem cutting through this stuff, and also using a marker that is absolutely washable off a hairpiece could be the way to do it. Also, this person's cutting the hairs This is a very good camera. She's not cutting the hairs. I was going to say she's cutting the hair while the hairs are dry, but that doesn't matter, right? It's a silly observation. Look how accurate all this is. That footage, like you see a real close-up of where the This is a very good image for me to talk to you about something else. V loops. They come through and it doesn't just go straight back up. No, it has to go under a distance of plastic before popping up so that this area here can stop the double hair from falling out, right? So this area here is what's causing all those straight lines that require bleaching. Otherwise you get these little lines all the way around your head, especially the front hairline, which is why you need bleached roots. Otherwise it looks like doll's hair. But look, you can see a close-up of what's going on there. These quite long distances of hairs before they loop back out. So, like I say, if the ladies, the ones who don't care, I've always made a joke about that. You got the thin poly. You sew it all through, right, a million times. You flip it. Now you're looking at the underside where the little V-loops are sticking out. What they generally do is just paint on some more of the poly, liquid poly, and then it dries, and then it's sealed in now. And I say, no, before you seal it in, just put bleach over it, rinse it, wash it. Don't let the hairs fall out, and then just, when it's dry, put poly, liquid poly over it, and now they're invisible. I mean, I haven't invented a company like this, but just from the outside I can tell you right now, that's what is an obvious next step that they have to do. Because I know from experience that the poly material is not affected by bleach. It might turn white for half an hour and then it goes back to looking just as clear as it was before. It's no problem. The hairs, however, have changed to blonde wherever you've bleached them. And certainly not dark brown, which just leaves all these crappy little lines everywhere. Anyway, it's an ongoing war. The scissors idea. If you're good at cutting, that's a lot neater than cut and rip, cut and rip. But I get the feeling that if Jake had a sharper blade, he was using a razor blade though. But then there's sharp and there's sharp, right? I don't know. If you press the hair against something very hard, the hairpiece, and you sliced hard, it would definitely cut through all the hairs and wreck it. I'm still going to try out the Jake method, or the my method that Jake copied because he went back in time and stole my idea. Oh, he went into the future and stole my idea. And then he went back in time and made it out like it was his idea. Yeah, I'll go ahead with that as scheduled. Otherwise, what's Jake gonna do if I don't invent this idea now? He won't be able to come into the present, steal my idea, and then go back in time and make out like, ooh, it's an amazing idea that I came up with. So I'll have to do that just so I don't break the timeline, the space-time continuum. And then if that doesn't work out for me, I might resort to scissors like this. But one thing to note with the scissors, I'm enduring the saxophone and piano right now, is that the white marker that this person has haphazardly thrown onto this hairpiece is totally washable. See, they don't use a marker, right? This is what lay people have been using all this time. We just let me go. I'll get a frozen screenshot here. Yeah, okay. Oh God, you can't rewind less than 10 seconds in YouTube. You've got to be on the ball. You could, if you dragged it to slide it with the mouse or anything. Anyway, you seeing this? I don't know if you're seeing this nicely, right? That's the remnants of the white which remain on it after it's been cut. And oh, look. Perfection. Yeah, that video is called How to Cut Your Hair System Down to Size. Lord Hair System tutorials. They actually do have some good tutorials. So long as they go into the details and troubleshoot obvious engineering difficulties we all have to have during these processes, which I think some of their videos omit it. Yeah, so potentially you want to get some kind of material marker that can easily be wiped off. I mean, plastic's not that hard to wipe crayon or something off. So it was something similar to crayon, although crayon's waxy, it's a bit difficult, but at least it stays temporarily. I don't know. Whatever they use for drawing on material that they can wipe off easy. That's what we need. Because even though I say the stencil pressure downwards should provide enough tension, it looked in Jake's videos like it didn't. So it might be that we need to take the stencil away, put pins with a bit of stretch on each side of some line that we've drawn, and just cut along that line. That could mean a lot of pins. Or it might end up meaning scissors. But I obviously do like the idea of just plonking the stencil on top, not having to mark it at all, and just using a razor blade to cut, or a scalpel to just simply cut it out, because we know that you're not going to move any of this away from where it's positioned because you've held it down with pins or whatever. Anyway, my first step is to actually make a stencil. These batteries are not charging very quickly, I think. That's a 1 amp charger. It's built into my power board. Hopefully it'll last a while. Alright. I just started watching this in the other room, and it's pretty funny. It's pretty funny the way she talks about the 4-finger method to figure out where the front of the hairline should begin. Watch this.
So just get your hairline. We're going to put 4 fingers above your eyebrows. So as you can see here, I'm going to put my hand right above his forehead, and then...
She just said above his eyebrows, then she puts her hand on his eyebrows, and then she says above his forehead.
Your hairline, we're going to put 4 fingers above your eyebrows. So as you can see here, I'm going to put my hand right above his forehead, and then that is where the start of his hairline is going to be.
I don't know if you could make out what she was doing, but she starts by saying 4 fingers above his forehead, above his eyebrows, right? Puts her hand there above his forehead, and then she says, and then I'm gonna put the marker right there. It's so fucking inaccurate. It's like 2.5 fingers. It's bullshit. Anyway, I wanted to know how to measure my own scalp for a measurement here. This mannequin character doesn't look like he's got the arches that Jake has. So I'm wondering, is that roundness just something that becomes flat when it's on your head? It hasn't been made clear to me. All I probably need to really do is watch a Jake video of him putting his own hairpiece on. Hopefully he'll actually show it to us this time so we can see what it looks like front on, instead of moving it around and never showing it. And then placing it. And also I want to see how he positions the back perimeter exactly so it doesn't miss, so that it looks good from the back and sides and everything. Santa Claus has a fucking toupee. Do you know this?
Well, my hair comprehendes. This is rib here, and I am in the process of taking hair off, cleaning this unit up, and reinstalling. I use the C22 solvent. I think there are other ways to do this, but this is just the one that I use. Go around the edge and find a place that's kind of lifting up, and I will just lean over and I will just squirt it right there in that spot. And I just work my way around and massage that C22 around, and you'll find after a few days it'll come up pretty easy. Yeah, see, I'm not having to even do anymore. And there you have it. Yikes! And I take the cotton ball and I just go all around the edge of this unit, and the cotton sticks to the unit. And then I put it in this dish, and I spray the cotton with C22. I spray a little C22 in this dish, and then I lay the unit in it, just like that. And then I put it on a shelf in the closet and leave it there until I can get the time to get back to it. Comes out, looks like this, and I literally take just toilet paper and I start working it.
Whoa.
You see how that's starting to just roll off?
Good boy.
Coming right off.
That is fucking amazing.
I just wash the unit, so now I need to get it off my head.
That guy's good.
I basically do the same thing. Almost all of the glue, the adhesive was on the unit.
You see how quickly that came off?
Right on top. Ooh. Got it in form. Just need to get all the oils off really good. Probably dry to the scalp, but
Jeez, looks like I owe Santa Claus a present this time. That's fucking amazing. And he's in shape too. I guess he must only eat around Christmas time. That's very fucking short. Breaking down a hair installation step by step. Alright, let's see. He's got people working for him.
Alright, what's up everybody? Today we're going to be doing a throwback to the last time I got a hair system installation. It's going to be a fresh unit from maybe about a month ago when I first got it installed with Carla down at Total Secret down in Miami. I wanted to show you this video so that way if you're new to getting a hair system you can see what the process is when you are going to a hair club, a salon that actually does the installations for you. So I'm going to be jumping around the video a little bit and show you some different parts of the procedure, what's happening, and explain it to you. That way you're best prepared for whatever comes your way. Guys, please like, comment, subscribe these videos because it means the world to me. It means a lot to this guy right here. And you want to stay notified. You want to stay in the loop, so please do. So let's just jump right in. So as you can see, I got a big old burly beard on, and this was from about a month ago before I shaved it. You can totally see my hair loss and the hairline recession and things like that. It's on top of my head. Norwood, I think it's 5. Someone correct me in the comments. But so right now we're in a closed room, meaning that no one is in there with us.
It's always interesting to see people's actually before and after, so see how his natural hair is. I mean, it doesn't seem that bad. I mean, I know as a recession person, but I don't want to be bald either, but it doesn't look that bad.
This is one of her assistants.
I think it's because he's in such good shape. Baldness doesn't look as bad as it does on a fatty.
That is doing some work in the background, cleaning it off. Generally, it's just Carla and I, except we moved into one of her back rooms, so that way we have a little bit more space and we'd be able to record.
Another interesting thing for me is to see that he hasn't buffed out to try to meet the edges. It's just uniformly short everywhere.
So as you can see, I'm gonna actually go back. As you can see, this unit right here has poly all around and through the center. There's like a cross section.
Yeah, see, that's the mistake I made with my order. I invented that as well. I didn't invent it, I just thought it would be a good idea, because how else are you supposed to, because you want the breathability of that lace around the center, but you want to be able to attach some kind of liquid or tape through the middle. This looks like it could be the ultimate setup, but I'm sure the root's not bleached. But yeah, he often seems to have a brushed forward look, which means we can't tell what's going on with the front hairline.
Okay, now what that does is it adds a little extra support, it adds a little bit of integrity to the unit, but also it's nice because I can add tape along these cross sections, which if you're wondering what kind of unit I'm wearing, that's kind of what it looks like. So right now, she is placing the unit, she's gonna mark my hairline where she actually feels like it would be most natural. So you see this happening right now, she's positioning it and maneuvering it, looking for a natural look, something that is going to look like my natural hairline, not something that is too far down or too low. This is easy for it to happen. So, she spends a lot of time getting that right, and as you can see now, she's going to start marking the unit. What she's doing right here is, so that way she doesn't forget where my hairline is, but right now, what you're about to start seeing her do is she is actually going to flip the unit upside down as she's doing right now, and she's going to mark the base of the unit. What she's doing there is she's basically getting ready to cut by the marks that she makes on this unit to cut down the unit to size, and that way it's going to be perfectly suited to my head. So she's going to go all the way up to the sides of the unit and follow my hairline recession where I'm actually losing hair. That way we're keeping as much hair as possible. So you can see that she's leaving dots along it. You can actually see right here, there's some dots right there. And that is how she goes and cuts the unit. That's me playing with my beard. So the next step here, as she's...
Just a quick note on the sideburns here. If you shave your sideburns and sides here with the same length, it looks like this is thicker. So if I was to do like, I don't know, say for example, 7mm length here, I would go down to maybe a 3 here. So that's why his sideburns really stand out as like being like this thing on the side of his face there. That needs to be a shorter guard on the clippers. Otherwise it doesn't blend, see?
She's gonna cut the unit to size, right, which she has now done. We can see it's much smaller, and everything looks to be in order. It looks as if she has got the cut that she's looking for, and we're gonna start actually doing the next phase of this. What is that, you ask? Well, let's take a gander, shall we? So after all that is said and done, now we come to the part that's scary, where they actually shave the top of your head. And this is really scary the first time that you ever go about doing something like this, because my God, the thought of just like shaving a bowl into your head is terrifying. If you've gone through this process, you know what it's like, and it's not fun, it's awful. Like the first time is awful because you don't know what to expect, and you feel like you passed the point of no return. So here it is happening. She, as you can see, she's shaving from where the recession is on my hair. Nothing else, nothing more. And she's shaving nice clean lines. And you can see that there's still these markers of the hairline inside of my forehead. So she's gonna get finished with this. Now, what you're seeing off screen, she showed me how to tape up my unit, how to do this stuff myself, which was very kind, so that way I can do some of this work on my own, because she is about 3.5 hours away from me. So it's not something that I can go for a maintenance or something like that. All right, diving back into the video, we can see that she's now going to clean off all of the points on my head. She's gonna clean off all of the Sharpie that she's left. And the reason for this is just when the unit is installed, that way I don't have dots on my forehead, because that would look a little strange potentially. So now, this last part right here is the actual installation of the unit itself. Now, just a brief note, you didn't get to see the tape applied to the unit during that phase, and may look different for you. And the reason is that if you're doing a liquid bond or a liquid adhesive, what they're going to do is they're going to apply it directly to your scalp generally. So they're going to take a liquid, or they might like smear it along your shaped area of your head, or they might have like a dropper vial. I don't have my liquid ultra hold with me right here, and they're going to apply it as almost like a when you're painting your toenails. Most men have not, so they don't know what that is, but there's a brush in it that they kind of stroke out, and some of the liquid adhesives are like that. Generally, they need to cure for somewhere around like 5-ish to 10-ish minutes. That might be a little bit long, but they need to cure, and then they'll apply generally a second and or potentially even a third coat. And there's no adhesive, there's no tape on the unit, unlike mine right now, which is going to be, it has the tape on the unit, and this is good. So what you're about to see right now is the actual placement of the unit with the tape. So here I am with my bald self. We can see the tape on the unit right now, so you can see right here, cross section, you can see it all the way around. It's been cut up. Now what she's doing first is she's matching up the hairline, making sure that we have a good hairline that she marked out, and then gently she places the unit as it comes back, like so, keeping tension and keeping it taut. What I'm asking you right now is, in fact, are you keeping it taut? Are you like, how are you holding it as you're doing it? She said that she does keep it she doesn't stretch it, but she keeps it taut. So now what she's doing is she's basically kind of like rubbing in the tape, so that way the bond and the adhesive really sticks to my forehead. Now something that you can do if you're doing this yourself, which I'm going to make a video on really soon, is you can use isopropyl alcohol to get the positioning just right, and you'll have about 30 to 60 seconds to like maneuver it a little bit. There's something called Adhesive, which is essentially isopropyl alcohol, which will allow you to do this, but you can just use isopropyl alcohol. Now what she's going to do is she's going to start cutting and blending in the unit. Carly uses strictly a razor right from the get-go. As you can see, she's got a comb, but she's also got a razor. So what she does is, you'll see, is that she starts cutting it, doing all of the blending. So cutting the hair around the edge of the hair system. You'll see as she moves around the back. She moves over to the side.
If I can cut the hair system while it's sitting here.
And finally, after that, she starts making her way into the center of the unit, which I'm now fast forwarding through. So you can see, after being cut down, this is all with a razor, right from the get-go. This is kind of what the hairstyle looks like. So in my opinion, for like the upturned look right here,
looks good.
Could have taken off a little bit from the back potentially, but I don't know, I like it. It's a little bit thicker and it has a little bit more volume because of that, but overall, you know, she did a great job. I think it suits my growing sides, which that's actually what I'm going for right now. I'm trying to grow out my sides, that way I can get back to a longer look. I love having my hair longer. I think it looks so good, which I'm really excited about getting soon. So she's just taking a little bit of the weight off of the unit right there, as you can see. And then that's about it, guys. What she starts doing is styling it, you know, making a couple corrections. She styles it for you when you first get it done, which is good, you know. She does it her style, which, as you can see, she tends to she tends to give like a lot of volume to the hairstyle, more so than I. She kind of gives it a hair blown look, which is good. I don't wear my hair like that a lot. In fact, generally, I hair dry it, but I tend to blow it a little bit differently than she does. Anyways, guys, I haven't been taking a shower today. I just got out of the gym, sweating and being nasty and stuff like that. But I wanted to show you what this process looks like, so that way, you know, you're more prepared, you're ready, and you're not scared. Anyways, guys,
So obviously that wasn't what I was looking for. I wanted to see how he measured his own scalp. We didn't see any of that. It was all behind. She was behind him and we didn't get to see. why he ended up with those arches. At any rate, I'm done with watching videos for now. My next step is going to be to measure my scalp. How long is that going to take? I will link that to that so I can see the back of my own head so I can get a proper measurement. And side. In terms of side, I still don't really know the answer, but I will favour the idea that I will go from where my current temples are, which is here, in a straight line and not do the curvature. Because if I need a curvature, I can always cut out more, but I can't add more, so. Because I'm sick of standing here and watching this. So, next thing I'll do is I'll measure. I've learned enough. I know what to do, sort of.